Bottom is going to another video review, and today, now I promised myself I would not go all Proto Man on this, but honestly I don't know if I'm going to be able to contain my excitement. Way back in the day when the classic Transformers started coming out, it gave me hope that one day we would get a Wheeljack figure. Classics 1.0 came, got nothing. 2.0 came, got nothing. 7.0, 9.0, 12.0, 14.0, nothing. Transformers Reveal the Shield, nothing. Transformers Generations finally gave me the figure I've been wanting for so many years. Wheeljack. The one and the only. The man responsible for so many cool inventions, including the Dinobots. Wheeljack. Beautiful packaging on here. Fantastic looking sports car mode. Obviously, he's got the robot mode there. The bio reads, Wheeljack is a brilliant risk taker, both in his lab and on the road. His inventions are both the cause and the solution to many problems as he pushes the boundaries of science and engineering in his quest for the next big thing. Due to the daring nature of his experiments, his lab needs to remain isolated, mostly because it blows up on a regular basis. The mad scientist himself. Now, this is a slight retool and obvious repaint of the Reveal the Shield Trax figure, but this figure, this mold, in my opinion, far suits Wheeljack better than Trax himself. So, after years and years of waiting for this figure, let's finally get this guy opened up and out of its packaging. Okay guys, so here we have the Generations Wheeljack opened up and out of its packaging. And this is an absolutely beautifully painted, fantastically molded version of what Wheeljack should look like. This thing has all of the characteristics that you would expect a Wheeljack toy to look like. And Hasbro hit it out of the park with this thing. This is phenomenal looking. Now, in terms of a comparison between this guy and the other figure that he shares a similar mold with, you can see that there are some differences that you have. Most notably, right here in the very front. Not even the bumper, I would assume you would call it. The bumper has been remolded on Wheeljack and looks a whole lot more G1 toy accurate. Obviously, the Trax figure doesn't have that. On the back here, you can see that these little sections right here, but obviously right here is where they attached the spoiler for Wheeljack, which is really very nice. And then even the side bits. You got a nice exhaust pipe type of thing here, whereas these ones are kind of like the missiles. It never really looked good. It doesn't really, I mean, if you take a look, it doesn't really line up too well with the actual side of the car. As for Wheeljack, it just forms perfectly. Well, it droops down a little bit, but it just forms so much better into the actual molding of the car itself. Really nice. One other really cool detail, I really like the rims on this figure, and I really liked how they changed them. They repainted them to a different kind of darker silver on the Wheeljack figure. Just an overall fantastic remold and reuse of the Trax figure. It's just absolutely gorgeous how this figure has come across. I think it's spot on how Wheeljack should look, at least in vehicle mode, and just wonderfully accurate to how he looked in his G1 form. For a G1 comparison, obviously, you know, the new Generations one is much bigger and this is in really bad condition, but the coloring on here, the nods that they have, the only thing that's really missing is the 539. That could go there, which I don't even know if the United version is actually having that. But the United version, it's kind of giving a metallic green paint on here, which I don't think looks very good. So I don't even know if I'm going to actually pick that version up. As big of a Wheeljack fan as I am, I might pass on that because that's a premium cost on a figure that just kind of gives a metallic green paint to it, which I don't think is all that spectacular. But it's just fantastic. I mean, some nice nods. I mean, like, you look. You got the green stickers here. You got green paint right here. The top looks pretty much the same. Obviously, you have some like little green bits right there and none right there. And this being a race car and stuff, they have, you know, all these, you know, little sponsor stickers that aren't on here, which I don't mind because it keeps this car looking really nice and clean. I obviously don't have the spoilers for this G1 version, but he does have his spoilers. So, I mean, this, like I said, a wonderful rendition of what the G1 figure really looked like. And I think it translates very nicely to the new Generations version. Now, one thing to note, just like the Trax figure, they do have a flight mode for Wheeljack, but it's pretty stupid. I mean, it's just kind of reusing the same gimmick that the Trax figure had, but there you can see his flight mode. I'm not actually going to put him into it, and besides, most people think that that flight mode sucks, just the way it looks in general. It's not implemented very well, and the fact that Wheeljack really shouldn't have a flight mode, I'm not going to bother showing it, but I'm sure people will do reviews and show that, but there's his instructions. Now, in terms of his transformation, it is a little bit different, just a little bit different than the Trax figure. So if you already have the Trax figure, you're going to be very familiar with how this guy works. First, what you want to do, come around here to the bottom and remove his exhaust pipes, which now, when you remove them, become little tiny ratchets, or wrenches, whatever you want to call them. So pull those off on both sides. Come around here to the top section, take this and just kind of accordion this all the way back, and that will release his hands and fold that all the way down. Right here you have his weapon storage, or his shoulder cannon, that all you have to do is take this and fold that out. And once you have it right here, just kind of come around here, separate these side panels, just kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle, and then a tug, then you can just fold those off to the side just like so, fold them up if you really want to. Take these wheels, you want to rotate these around, kind of angle the arms down like so, position them however you want, rotate them, rotate them, rotate them. One problem that I have with my particular figure is this arm, the ball joint is not very secure on it, and it tends to pop off very easily. Then come around here to the feet, separate them, kind of lift this little section up and then push it all the way up, and that will give you his head reveal and his arms extend outward, which is really cool. Come around to the feet, kind of untab these and then fold these down, and you can take the wheel and you can put that back up if you want to. Just personal preference. Do it on both sides. I like pushing it up because it just kind of sort of fills in the side. I mean, you could leave it on the bottom. It's up to you, however you want to do it. Extend these legs as far as they possibly can go, and I'll comment on this in a little bit because these legs actually do extend less than on the actual Trax figure. Go ahead and take this, and one really cool thing, and I'll comment on this later, I really like how this opens up, which is very, very reminiscent of how the G1 toy, his chest piece, can open. I leave the wheels out on the side like this because, again, it looks more G1 toy look-ish. Take these little back wings, and you want to extend these all the way out, and then rotate these up till they're on pretty much a 45-degree angle, just like so. Come around here and then extend these little silver bits. They just rotate out. Do it on both sides. And position those again however you really want to make your Wheeljack look as cool as possible. Straighten out his head, make sure his arm's all the way out. Come around here. This little silver bit is kind of a pain in the butt. You gotta pull this out. And then these little tabs will peg into these little holes right there and there. So just fold that in. Ooh. And give it a push, and that kind of tabs in. Then kind of push the chest or the back piece all the way down till it kind of sort of lines up down there on the back section. There's that. Take this little bit. You got a little I don't even know, 5mm clip. Fold that down just like so. Come around here and plug it in to the back. I mean, you could do it on either side, but Wheeljack had it on this side. So that's the side that it's going on. And boys and girls, here you have Wheeljack in all of his fantastic figure glory. An outstanding mold that, as I said with the Trax figure, I mean, I really think that this is just a better use of the mold for the Wheeljack figure. I just think it's wonderful. These little bits right here, like I said, now become kind of like, you know, wrenches or ratchets, whatever you want to refer to them as, because naturally, I mean, he needs to have those to fix on things and things of that nature and things. But I just love the way that this guy looks. I just think he's fantastic. Now, in terms of his articulation, it's going to be the same that we saw in the Trax figure. His head's on this little ball joint, so you can get it doing whatever you want. And the head itself, I think, is a fantastic looking head. Hopefully you can see that fairly well. My camera's picking it up. Kind of get that out of the way. But his little light bars here on the side are actually translucent. And I got a little light right here, and you can really see that a lot of it, and even including the eyes, are light piped beautifully. I absolutely love the way that looks, and that face is Wheeljack all the way. absolutely love the way that guy looks. His arms are on little ball joints, so you can go in and out about that far. They rotate up and down. They got a swivel here at the upper part of the bicep, 2 joints here at the elbow. In his arms, or his hands, his wrists actually rotate, which is nice. He does rotate, oh, well, dropping this wrench. He does rotate at the waist, which is part of the original transformation that we saw on Trax, because what you would do is rotate these legs around, and here are the Trax legs for the most part. Slightly remolded, and I'll show that off here in a second, but you don't need to rotate them for Wheeljack, which I like. He bends at the knee. He's got a little bit of a pivot here at the foot. It's kind of on a ball joint, so you can, you know, get some wide poses. People have complained that he's a very short and bulky looking version of himself. And honestly, that doesn't bother me all that much. So here's Wheeljack, and here we have the Trax figure, and as you can see, he is taller. Trax is a taller robot. You can really see it here at the chest. The reasoning behind that is because if you look back here, which this is here, I'll just rotate this guy around. As you can see, this is as far as you can extend his legs. And he falls over because he's drunk. I think what they did was they made the actual slot right here in his shins shorter on Wheeljack. Now you can probably take these off and modify it. I actually think PAW did that. And in doing so, you would be able to slide his legs out a little bit further and make him taller. But these legs have been remolded slightly. For example, the wheels, if you look, these wheels actually are on a little hinge that can rotate down, whereas these ones cannot. And then again, if you look at the back, because these little bits are his knees, there's that section right there. Let me kind of zoom in. Hopefully you can see that very well. He's got little knee pads right here, whereas the back of this guy doesn't. So there is some molded differences between the two figures, which it's a very nice use of the mold and how they actually to be able to be used for 2 totally different figures. And I absolutely love the fact that they did that. And yeah, he's a little bit shorter, but it gives him a little bit more of a distinction. I kind of like it. Now, I mean, yes, his legs don't look quite as, you know, big, and if you put him like that, I mean, he really does kind of look like he's got big legs. And it doesn't really bother me that much because if you look at the old G1 toy, he kind of had big old legs anyhow. And obviously, he's a very short figure, so him being a little bit shorter than the rest really doesn't bug me much at all either. Now, I know some people kind of wanted to see the color difference between the Jazz White and the Wheeljack White, and as you can see, this is a very kind of bland, very plain white. This white looks so much deeper and richer in color. Hopefully that's going to come across very well on the actual video itself, but I won't know until you guys watch and let me know. But the coloring just looks so much better. I don't have the United version of Jazz to compare it, but this should kind of give you an idea. Now, fanboy joygasm aside, I really do think that this is a very nice figure. One minor complaint that I have is these little guys are pretty big. These little wing things. It would be nice if I could shorten them. You could take this and not extend these out, and they're still silver, but I mean, if you did that, I mean, that looks a little bit better. They're not quite as big, which it doesn't bug me quite as much. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm kind of iffy about. So that's really kind of my biggest gripe with it. But this figure is just a wonderful representation of Wheeljack, and I highly recommend picking this guy up when you see him. Now, to transform him back, go ahead and take all of these weapons, take those away. You already got that out, so unpeg that. Go ahead and fold these little doodads down. Fold his arms kind of up just to kind of get him out of the way. Fold those little bits down. You can rotate these around onto the side if you really want to. Unpeg this, fold that out, fold that in. These arms, now there is a little bit of a trick. People a lot of times have a hard time getting the arms to line up. I'll show you how to do it. Kind of fold the head all the way down. Can be a bit of a pain in the butt if you don't do it right. There we go. So you get that all the way down, kind of get these up, positioned just like so. All right. Now, rotate these around, kind of keep these off to the side. Bring the little chest piece up, fold the feet back, tab that together nicely. Do the same on this side, just fold it back, tab it together, bring these little bits together, plug it in just like so. Kind of take the legs and accordion them inward, so where you can line up the roof piece. Again, keep the arms out of the way, fold this little section in, and then you just kind of push that in and line those tabs up on the side. Give it a nice little push, and you have that pretty much done. Now these wheels, rotate these out. You want to keep, here's how you do the arm so that you can get it closing properly and get this back section all the way down. Just like so, have it just like this, where you have the little joint showing. Come around here to the bottom though, and now zooming in, kind of show you this little piece. You want to make sure that these are rotated all the way down so that these little pieces line up properly. See, because a lot of times people will have them where it's like that, and it won't fit properly. So fit those little pieces right in there. Rotate the fist around, rotate that around, then again rotate the fist, and then there are these little slots right here on his forearms. These little slots have to slide in to these little bits. You have to put these little pegs into those slots. So what best way to do it, fold it all the way back, kind of get it in there, and if you get those slots in there just perfect, they'll be all the way extended just like so. Go ahead, take his weapon, fold it, kind of fold that up like so. Take this little bit and then you just peg it into that hole just like so, and then fold this all the way down, kind of give it a little push right there, and you see that? Perfectly lined up, roof and back section, wonderfully done. Take these little bits right here, and again they just tab in to the sides just like so. And I actually wonder, because I don't know which one I don't know which one I actually put in there. They're the same, so it doesn't matter. But here you have Wheeljack back into his wonderful vehicle mode. Again, as I said, I cannot recommend this figure enough. It's a beautiful representation of Wheeljack, and I think that this is finally the best version of Wheeljack that we have ever gotten. I challenge anyone to tell me a figure that's better in terms of Wheeljack than this guy, because I don't think there's one that's out there. So pick this guy up as soon as you see him. So until next time, guys, this has been Optibotimus. Thank you for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.